charity, and I have a couple of FIT applications going. I'm concerned the FIT program, you're either on or you're off. I've tried to get some industries involved, and they don't work in the winter, but we can't feed that into the grid. They've stopped reverse metering at 500 kilowatts. Like, it's not very flexible. It doesn't really work with life situations, like an industry that doesn't need the power at night. You can't feed it in. You know, you get crummy rates. So, like, I'd like to see it more accessible, more flexible, more working with industry.
And your specific recommendation, you have a specific recommendation there?
Well, that it should be reverse metering. You should be able to feed power in some months of the year, some hours of the day. It shouldn't just be everything into microfit, and then you buy your power back from the grid. It should be more flexible.
Yeah, and let me echo that and say something that we haven't mentioned. When we talk about, well, what about parking lots, right? Parking lots are perfect for solar, but according to our current rules, you have to, you're building a structure to put solar panels on, so forget it. Another area, and this is a tragedy, is there's almost no solar at any of our institutes of higher education for the past 2 years, and there won't be. There won't be, I saw a guy, he was almost in tears, from the facilities department of York University. We have like 5 square miles, and we can't put up solar panels. For exactly this reason, it's too expensive, it doesn't work, it's not flexible. There needs to be accommodation to special cases, especially institutes of higher education or areas where we want solar because it makes sense to have solar there. So thank you for that. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to mention the higher education issues. So please.
Yeah, excuse me.
Name and affiliation?
Yeah, my name is Brian Bechtel. I'm with the Region Municipality of Waterloo. I guess one quick comment to one of the previous people that were taking the mic. We've got one system up now that's been generating for about 8 months. We paid $90,000. We're well on target for our projections. So I think that saying that there's not enough solar energy in Ontario is a fallacy. I don't believe that. So.
All right. The region of Waterloo, which is a great leader and pioneer in our industry.
Well, I'll touch just a few comments. We build our business case on the existing rates, and we've got about, well, we've got $17.5 million, so we're putting systems on 25 of our rooftops. Right now, we've got 6 locations, about 900 kilowatts, and we've got applications in since December 10th. We're waiting on a contract. And we've got 3 others that we've had applications in since March and May of this year. We're waiting on contracts. So we're sitting in the queue somewhere. But we're not going to be very happy if we're going to be taking a major reduction. I don't think I agree with the 20% reduction is adequate. All the stuff on the slides I've seen up there tonight, I haven't had anybody mention the operating and maintenance costs over 20 years, which we figured into our business case. Repairs, roof replacements, possible tax ramifications, property tax assessment increases, various structural assessments, consulting fees. I just think 20% decrease in the existing rates is too much. And several times it's been stated, well, a small percentage of Ontario will it. Isn't really affecting the ratepayers' rates. I think that message really has to get out there. I hear that every day about our $17.5 million project is driving up the cost of electricity in the province. I think that message has to get out loud and clear. That's not the case. So that's just
Thank you. And I want to ask you if you would not mind sending to us, and the best way to email is FRC Fit Review Coalition at solarnetwork.org, all these costs of operational maintenance and others, so we could factor that in and say, hey, when the price adjustments come, the Region of Waterloo has done their homework. This
I'll
is
just
what they.
make one more comment. We've had prices from the contractors. I'm not going to mention names, but the first tender we put out, they quoted us $25 a kilowatt for operation and maintenance. The last one was $150. And we're asking for 20-year warranties on our inverters, and we're budgeting that into our numbers. So we've gone to the point now where we've actually trained our own staff and some of the local contractors. We've got them certified in the various inverter contract or manufacturers, that if we don't get an acceptable price from the installation people, we'll do it ourselves and maintain the warranty for 20 years.
Thank you.
So there's different ways to get around.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be great if there was kind of consistency and some kind of consensus on, you know, this is what operation and maintenance costs really are. And to Kathleen's point, I mean, before we start talking about lowering prices or adjusting prices, let's get real about what the costs are and talk to the people like the Region of Waterloo who've done projects and who are adjusting their thinking on what things really cost. Please.
Jim Yeager, Dynamic Solar Tech. Just a couple of things. I'd like to thank everyone up here and everyone that comes out today. This is great to see, and it makes me proud to be in this industry. Some things I'd like to bring up. Price tranches. We haven't talked about raising the microfit tranche maybe to 20 or 30 kilowatts. I know it's out there in other committees. What are the thoughts, and have you guys looked at that? Being my first question. Raising the microfit tranche level to from 10 to 20 or 30 kilowatts.
Anyone want to tackle that?
We haven't looked at that specifically at where those lines should be, but if there's a blended rate, then you'd get some of that automatically. So a 30 kilowatt system, well, let's take a 20 kilowatt system, would have a rate that's halfway between the microfit rate and the small rate.
Yeah,
So in that sense we have, because it seems to me that the costs for a 20 kilowatt are probably, unit costs are probably a bit lower than for a 3 kilowatt.
Yeah, but the soft costs would need to be adjusted there in order to integrate. Like right now, it doesn't make sense to integrate a 20 to 30 kilowatt system on a rooftop. And we see a lot of rooftops that are eligible for these sizes of systems, and that would make sense, primarily in the small business sector. You might say car establishments or any type of small buildings. And so as leaders in this industry, we need to protect and get these systems out there that make sense. The soft costs that we would incur to implement a 20 to 30 kilowatt system are too high to make that system worth integrating, so we end up with a 10 kilowatt system on a roof that can handle a roof that size system and no chance for future upgrades. And I think this is an area that we need to let the OPA know, and the ministry know that we want to build systems not based on size, but on what makes sense for these buildings and make it easier to integrate these systems. With most rooftops, we're not going to, the larger industrial buildings can handle these 100 to 200 watt systems, but we're seeing a lot of establishments have to design systems around that. Now, my next point.
If I may just add a point, because I think what you're saying is so important. Remember again that from the Ministry of Energy's perspective, they've got more applications than they need to meet their targets for the year 2030. Now, there will be attrition, but when it comes to job creation, the fact that you could put a project on that, I don't know, car dealership or whatever, but you're not doing it, how much lost revenue is there to the province? How many jobs are not being created because of that? So this is also really, it's a job creation issue. It's not just what makes sense. Where do we want PV? And if you, and I say this to everybody, if you have a case study of, you know what, I wanted to put PV on this particular building, here's the address, this is what makes sense, there's load there, and it could handle 30 kilowatts, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it work. That would be very helpful to us, right? If you could share with us certain case studies of deals that didn't work because the categories don't make sense. So.
Okay, I'm sorry to drag on, but I do have a couple of other points. The next one would be the 10% that we're allocating to microfit. In the case that we want to increase the sizing of these systems, and that we want to see transparency, and we want to see these smaller systems integrated throughout our province, especially in the urban areas, why are we only asking for 10%? We should be looking at a larger percentage going towards microfit size systems this will, and going to the government and suggesting that let's get the voters involved in this and let's give them more say in it. So if we get more microfit systems out there, more of the provincial electoral body is participating in these systems, and the Liberals have a greater chance of continuing forward with this program. And not, hopefully not getting out. So I'm not understanding why we're only offering 10%, 50 megawatts in that front.
Before you go to your next comment, and Graham or Leslie, I put the chart up there. Why is it? Because we've struggled with this. Is 10 too low? Is 10 just right? What's your thinking?
10's too low.
What's right?
500.
In terms of percentage, because I mean, do the math. 10% of a 500 megawatt tranche is 50 megawatts of microfit before the price goes down. Wes, do you want to share your thinking?
And if these are microfit by the current definition, and we can talk separately about changing the definition, but if these are microfit by the current definition, they have an average size of 5 kilowatts, say, that's 100,000 projects. We struggled with this. We started out with a higher percentage than 10%, but we looked at the number, not just so much the number of applications as the volume of applications submitted to the OPA, and it seems to me that the industry will be doing well to get 50 megawatts of microfit. That's a lot of projects and a lot of work per project. We can certainly increase that number, but we need to be practical and need to make sure that we as an industry can get there.
Understanding that, however, how many of us are sitting here with how many microfit contracts that we've been waiting for months with Hydro One approval or local LDC approvals, and we should be just saying, hey, it's a 10 kilowatt system, it's going to have no impact on the grid. Let's get these systems out there, and to back up Kathleen's point, is we need to, this should be easy. It's a 10 kilowatt system. I should be able to sell it. I should be able to plug and play it, essentially. So it's just something that I'd like to see some more review on, and I'd like to continue discussion on how we're going to look at this.
So on that point, first I want to make it clear, we're going to, over the next week, we got to get this done because we want to publish our recommendations. We're on a tight deadline. So we're going to have committees, and I'm inviting you to get involved in this pricing committee or a microfit committee. And one of the things we want to be pragmatic too. If we're successful here, we review this, and maybe these things get changed, but going forward, we think this is something acceptable to people that the government could take. But it is, that plug and play thing is critical, because at some point I think we need to go and say, we think it's 3 kilowatts, that there's no questions asked, of course you're going to be connected. Maybe it should be 10, but right now they're pushing back and saying 10, we can't do 10. So the question is, well, what can you agree to that is just plug and play? It's like a refrigerator or air conditioner, and we don't need to have grid capacity. Is it 3, is it 4, is it 5? Give us something until you figure out that 10 really isn't a problem.
I think this gentleman was asking, where's the answer?
Where's the answer to?
Who's going to approve all of them? At the end of the day, all the applications that we have. Where are they?
He's asking, where are all our applications?
Where are they going to approve all of them at the end of the day? When is that going to happen?
He wants to know when are our microfit applications going to be approved.
You know what, I'm not too concerned about that. They're going to get through, and we're going to weather this storm and get through it. My concerns are more about making sure that we present ourselves efficiently and effectively and in a sustainable manner in order to achieve our goals.
Okay, take one more point, and let's hear from
one more point. I'd just like to talk about some of the I guess, hard, soft cost commitment reviews, LDC, municipal expenditures. I just want us to be careful while we approach this topic, because the municipal is there to protect the consumer, essentially, the municipality and the LDCs, and they're trying to protect each other themselves from systems that are going up, and we've all seen them that went up, and people slapped them up, 3 layers of shingles and a solar panel assembly on the roof. So maybe we could consider a governing body that can assist in mandating proper practices in order to install systems in a sufficient manner. I'd like to thank you once again.
Okay, thank you.